Meanwhile, President Trump laying out why former White House counsel Don McGahn should defy a subpoena to testify later today before a House panel up on Capitol Hill.
I think it's a very important precedent, and the attorneys say that they're not doing that for me, they're doing that for the office of the president. So we're talking about the future. The Democrats want to redo, and we've had enough, and the country's had enough. There has never been, ever before, an administration that's been so open and transparent.
He already sat down with the special counsel for 30 hours. Here to weigh in, Fox News senior judicial analyst and host of Liberty File on Fox Nation, Judge Andrew Napolitano.
Wait a minute, you make it sound like I sat down with the special counsel for 30 hours.
Well, you would have, Judge. You would have spilled your guts. But let's just talk about Don McGahn. The president says, I'm not going to let him testify for the future presidents as well as him.
The president actually makes a very interesting argument, because Don McGahn was not the president's lawyer. He was the lawyer for the presidency, for the institution of the human being that is the head of the United States government and at the same time the head of the executive branch. So here's the issue. When President Trump allowed Don McGahn, the lawyer for the White House, to be interviewed by Bob Mueller's FBI agents and prosecutors for 30 hours, he waived the executive privilege. What's a privilege? A privilege is the right to keep the truth from being exposed. The theory is it's better that I can communicate directly with my closest aides if I'm the president than that they can run to the press or run to the Congress every time I say something. So that privilege exists. But once you break that wall, once you waive the privilege, this is the Democrats' argument,
right?
The privilege is waived forever. The president says it's pretty clear throughout history that my legal advisor is an extension of me.
Sure.
And everybody that is close to me, people I talk to every day in running the executive branch, is an extension of me. And just as I, as the president, could not be summoned to testify before Congress, neither can they. Now, how is this going to be resolved? Like a lot of these things are resolved, probably by a court. The president lost a court battle yesterday. It may be just a temporary loss because they're going to appeal that to a higher court. So what does Don McGahn do? He doesn't work for the president anymore. He's back in private practice at a superb firm called Jones Day, which is right behind the Fox building in Washington, D.C. Can he defy the president and show up? Yes, he can. But he would have very, very serious legal ethics issues.
Right.
Because when your former client says, don't tell what you learned while you're representing me, you can't speak that until a judge authorizes you to.
Are the Democrats right, or is the president right? Because if the Democrats are right, then all these committees could just continue to question these people, and it could go on and on.
A judge is going to decide who's right, and it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. Sure. Yesterday, a judge, for better or for worse, decided that the Democrats were right when they subpoenaed the president's financial documents from the years before he was president. There may be a different outcome after that's appealed. And ultimately, a lot of this will get to the Supreme Court, as was the case when the House of Representatives wanted President Nixon's tapes.
Why doesn't Don McGahn just go today and then take the fifth?
I don't know. If he went today and didn't answer, and it wouldn't be the fifth, because the fifth is your right to remain silent for yourself. It would be, I'm complying with my former client's wishes.
But I'm not going to tell you anything.
Correct. That would at least avoid the stain of being held in contempt. They're not going to hold him in contempt today because they have procedures.
Well, the Department of Justice already said, don't go. And so
when he doesn't show up and he has the empty chair, are they going to question the empty chair like they did when Bill Barr did, or the box of chicken?
Are they going to eat chicken wings again? I think that's a little silly, but they have chosen that political mantra.
They did talk about a fine. Have you heard anything about that recently?
No, I have not heard anything about a fine. But he's in an awkward position. He wants to tell the truth. He told the truth to FBI agents. Now the client says, don't say anything. You follow the client's instructions until a court tells you otherwise.
The House committee, couldn't they just read what he said during those 30 hours of testimony?
They have read a summary of what he said. They are dying to get their hands on the actual verbatim of what he said, but the Attorney General won't release that.
All right.
Bottom line, more to come.